can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall, delighted as always to be joined by the one and only Ra Hokum of Punch Out Boxing. And we're here in final prediction mode for an intriguing fight for Britain's Maxi Hughes this Friday night in Dubai as he faces Bakhodur Usmonov. Apologies if I've butchered that pronunciation, but yeah, Maxi Hughes, the veteran, having a bit of an Indian summer, I suppose you can say, Ra, a bit of a resurgence the last couple of years. He's been on good form, but this will be a big test against the unbeaten fighter from Tajikistan, I believe, Bakhodur Usmanov. But yeah, it's a big opportunity for Maxi Hughes. Let's jump straight into it though. What is your final prediction for this one in Dubai? Maxi Hughes and Bakhodur Usmanov.
I'm going with Maxi Hughes to once again upset the apple cart and get a unanimous points decision.
Very interesting. Is there any what's your kind of what's your basis behind that? Like, is it that you've not really been impressed with Usmanov, or you just think Maxi Hughes is on that wave of momentum now and he can't be stopped? What's your kind of thought process behind that? Because it, I haven't seen the betting lines, but I'd imagine Maxi Hughes is an underdog here.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I mean, Usmanov, he was a top level amateur, typical Central Asian sort of former Soviet fighter, top level amateur, but not elite. It's worth noting. So I don't think he ever won any of the major tournaments. Um, and his pro career, he hasn't got out of his comfort zone of his home country of Tajikistan. On top of that, it looks like all of his opponents have been Tajiks, which means they're probably almost all certainly the same style that he's fought. So because of that, I don't think he has really made the proper transition to the pro game for the world level anyway. And Maxi Hughes is absolutely someone who's been in the pro game a long time. And the fact that, as you said, also he's got a bit of momentum since there's the Pida loss, he's come back and beaten two top British prospects slash contenders, which shows he still wants it, because he could easily have slipped into that sort of gatekeeper role. But he went out and beat Cully and Sharp quite comprehensively, so he wants it. And I think he'll give Usmanov a rude awakening to professional boxing.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Like, I'd love Maxi Hughes to do it. Don't get me wrong. I think I really would. I'd love if he went in there and got it done. I think he is capable of doing it. As I say, I'd love to see the betting odds for this one. Like, if you're a gambling man, I don't know, but I'd love to see the odds to see how much of an underdog Maxi Hughes is. I don't know. I'm going for Usmanov here, though. I just think he might be a bit too well skilled. I like his style from what I've seen of him. Aggressive, fast hands. Of course, as you say, that kind of Eastern European, technically, fundamentally solid. And I just think he might be a little bit too fresh for Maxi Hughes. But as you say, unproven in the pro game. Definitely not proven to the level of a Maxi Hughes has been, even though. Maxi broke my heart as an Irishman defeating Gary Cully a couple of fights ago, but credit to him, he's been on a really excellent run. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Usmanov on a decision. A competitive enough but decisive decision. Just kind of on Maxi Hughes. Do you think maybe he's at a stage that if he loses on Friday night, that could be the end for him in a pro ring, or do you think that there is still good domestic fights? If he does, of course, if he wins, he's got big fights on the horizon. But if he was to come up short, would there be kind of British domestic names that you'd like to see him in with still?
Yeah, unless he falls apart and looks his age, which I don't think he will. I think his style is one that ages well. Certainly, there's plenty of good fights there for him, but I think it will be very difficult for him simply because he's stylistically so difficult. And on the British scene, they'll have looked at what he did with Cully and Sharp, and any prospect with a half decent manager will say yes, you want to swerve that one. So if he does lose this and wants to fight on, he'll find it difficult to get meaningful fights because the only other people willing to fight him would be the sort of other members of the Who Needs Him club. But those sort of fighters, like himself, don't usually sell well. So what promoter's going to put those sort of fights on? So I think he's good enough to still beat a lot of the people at British level. But I just think, again, the politics won't favour him, and he could find himself just sort of frozen out and maybe forced out of the game by default.
Yeah, you make very good points, and that would be a shame to see. After the career that he's had, he's definitely earned more respect than that. But it's going to be an interesting one to see what happens on Friday. I'm looking forward to this. It was an interesting one. It raised a lot of eyebrows when it was announced, this fight, especially over in Dubai. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how it goes. And as I said, I'd love Maxi Hughes to get it done. I really would. But he's got a big test on his hands. That was myself and Ra giving our final predictions for Maxi Hughes travelling to Dubai this Friday night to face Bakhodur Usmonov. Yeah, the unbeaten amateur standout. Can the veteran do it? Can Maxi Hughes kind of continue the momentum, or will Usmanov prove too much? Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with myself or Ra? Let us know. We're split. Get involved down below. And as always, don't forget to please drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. Also go and subscribe to the great channel Punch Out Boxing, Ra's own channel. Phenomenal content regularly. So yeah, get on that as well. And yeah, follow us on all social media platforms. Ra, it was a pleasure. Take care.